Hi, this is Zach May with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe, the weekend edition for Sunday, the 28th of September. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which almost had a perfect day to end the week, up 0.75%, opening at the low, closing at the high, breaking recent resistance through 96.70, 92.70 rather, and above that, look at the top of the channel. 95.30 by the end of next month. Obviously, we've got the record high 93.57 from last month, helped along by the double RSI 50 rebound, which we've had basically versus 9200. Lowest we've been since we had that signal is 91.77, and we've stayed above the rising 50-day line as well, which is currently at just under 91.80. So looking good, at least 8 or 9 out of 10 on that particular front. We do break down the worst case rug pull is that 50-day line, and maybe if you're really pessimistic, 91.10, the September support, but it looks as though this month is closing on a high, which obviously in itself is positive. Moving on to the DAX, and here it's been a bit of a dead month. Well, it's actually a totally dead month, but we are inching towards the first sign that this will liven up a bit with the RSI heading just below the neutral 50 level. Probably still just want to see an end of day close through the 50-day line, 23,900, to give us a move up to potentially 25,700 by the end of October, which is what we've been looking for all along, but obviously it's taken a little bit longer, and we've wasted basically September. On the downside, if there's a rug pull, the worst case is the 200-day line, 22,800. Onto the Dow, and here you can see that we are consolidating well near the highs. We bounced off that support line there, the mysterious one, RSI 55, which is another continuation signal. Worst case here would be now the 50-day line, 45,100, but not expecting any sustained price action now below 45 and a half. Looking for the top of the channel there, 47,800 by the end of October. Onto the cryptos, and here it's been a bit of a disappointing month in most cases. Here we've got the Bitcoin itself bouncing off or at the floor of that rising trend channel from the end of February, 109, the level there. We've obviously factored in that we would have to test September support 107. Worst case here with a rug pull, which is probably what we need now actually, is a fall back to the 104 level and the 200-day moving average. But hoping that that will be the lowest we get if there is a final shakeout. 50-day line falling, which isn't great, and recent failure below the old support at 111. So it does look as though this is rolling over, and obviously 124 to 104 would not be a great look if that happened. Onto Ethereum, which has also been a bit of a disappointment, and here you can see why. We were hoping that we'd find support on the right side of 4,000, but that didn't happen. We were also hoping that we'd find support on the right side of the old July resistance around 39.40. That didn't happen, but at least we have bounced to what looks like the floor of the rising trend channel here from August. We obviously lowered that down from the steep configuration that we had previously up there. And nice candle today, actually, with the this market with a cork and water rebound. So hopefully, recent support there towards 38.20 is going to prove to be the lowest that we have. Above that, initially looking for the old support area 42.20 as the upside. Best case is if we stay above 38.20, we're going up to 5,300, maybe 5,400 by the end of October. You can see there's been an RSI 30 rebound off oversold. So there we are with Ethereum. Gold is next, and here this has been the star of the show in recent weeks. Almost parabolic ascent here. Top of the channel here, 38.80. Looking for that by the end of next month or even sooner, especially while we're above recent support and recent resistance around 3,700. Moving on to the stocks, and got a slight nudge to the upside with amazing AI and lots of presentations, etc., by the company during the week. Presumably more to come. Here we can see that we're still bouncing above that 50-day line and that uptrend line there around the 1.1 pence level above that. Still looking for the shares to flip back up towards the 2.7, 2.8 pence level by the end of next month. RSI remaining above neutral 50, which is the reason for the relative optimism on the pullback from 2p. So RSI 57, which is about the right or the perfect level for continuation to the upside. On to EnergyPathways, which was the star of the show last week, or at least the end of last week. Here it was interesting that we've had positive RSI moves ahead of the announcement on Friday. We also had a couple of very strong candles there, opening at the low, closing at the high on the 15th and 17th, almost implying that one or two people were taking a punt on there being upside from the area near to 2 pence. A break intraday at 2.6 pence, which was the post-crash high, was the signal for the upside. And what's interesting now is that we managed to close above the 200-day moving average around 5.68 pence. Looking for 7 pence initially, which is that June resistance line projection. Above that, hopefully, we'll just keep going, but there is some resistance there around 8.3 pence for Monday. What would be disappointing is if there wasn't a decent challenge on the 7 to 8 pence area on Monday. If we don't get that, then it would imply the market wants a bit more info from the company, which presumably we'll get quite soon. Moving on to Defence Holdings, which is one of the stars of the past month. Here we're rejigged the price action, or rejigged the charting situation with a rising trend channel there from the end of last month. The top of the channel there heading towards 4.5 pence, which is now what we're looking for by the end of next month, while we remain above recent support around 2.5 pence. Next up is Gem Resources, which has managed to rehabilitate itself and did with a decent announcement during the week. Minimum on the upside here looks like 0.8. Next level up towards the 0.92 level, which was November resistance last year. Ideally, we stay on the right side of recent support, 0.5 pence, whatever happens on that. Returning to GCM Resources, and here, interesting picture. Looks like multiple support points there towards 6 pence, and also multiple RSI points towards the neutral 50 level. That suggests that we're finally going to get the retest of 10 pence by the end of next month, which was the old early 2024 resistance for the stock. Whatever happens, we'd like to stay above the 50-day line at 5.68 pence. I mentioned some of the arbitration plays in the week in small caps. I think I mentioned all the ones that there are. And here it looks quite interesting that GreenX Metals has broken the main resistance line there from March around 38 pence. We did break it during the week. We've got rising 50 and 200-day lines, which suggests we're in the run-up to a golden cross, which tends to be the strongest part of the cycle. So hopefully there'll be another push through 40. And we'll have a minimum here at the top of the rising trend channel from this time last year, as high as 50 pence by the end of next month. Be disappointing now if we saw any sustained price action back below the 50-day line there at 37.5 pence. Moving on to Hydrogen Utopia, where it seems that the penny has finally dropped in terms of the potential magnitude of its activities in the MENA region. Just needs one deal to get it over the line, really. And looking at it here, breaking the resistance from July around 1.75 pence would be enough, hopefully, to give the shares a move up towards 2.3 pence, which is the top of that falling trend channel from back in the autumn of last year. Best case by the end of next month up to 3.5 pence, presuming there'll be some decent news. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 1.5 pence post-August resistance, whatever happens. But it was a good week for the stock. On to Metir, which I think had a good announcement during the week. Good RNS during the week. Final commissioning of a Qatari project. And here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel, top of the channel. They're heading for 1.6 pence, which we're looking for as soon as the end of next month after the latest gap higher above a rising 50-day line, and multiple RSI 50 zone rebounds for the share. So looking quite good, especially while we remain above the rising 50-day line there, 0.9 pence. On to Mila, which has decided to promote its exploration manager to COO, which is a very nice thing to do. Here we've broken recent resistance around 104 and looking for 1.4 pence over coming days, best case up to 1.7 pence by the end of next month. That red resistance line, which is basically post 2023 resistance for the shares. On to Oracle Power, where the company raised money, £500,000 last month, so hopefully doesn't need to do anything at the moment. We've managed to hit the first target there, which was around point 0. Well, we did actually hit it, 0.03. Above that on an end-of-day close basis, looking for 0.045 by the end of October. You can see 3 RSI 50 rebounds there, so pretty impressive in terms of the price action on the shares. Another arbitration play and a requested stock as well. Here we've got Panthera, and here you can see that the shares in a mid-move consolidation bull flag. We've got the 50 and 200-day lines both rising, heading towards a golden cross hopefully sometime next month. Run up to the golden cross, obviously the strongest part of the cycle, and above the old July resistance of 14 and 3/4, looking for a minimum at 21 pence by the end of next month, and maybe by the end of the year, or hopefully sooner than that, up to 30 pence, which is that December resistance line projection. But it does look as though the Panthera situation is finally on their way, finally on its way, whatever the news may be. Moving along to TomCo, which has been a serial disappointer, but at the moment, at least we've got good price action above the rising 50-day line, extended RSI 50 rebounds there, and looking for 0.075 by the end of next month while we stay above that 50-day line, 0.035. Let's see if TomCo can finally deliver the goods. Onto World Chess, which, although it may sound boring if you're not an intellectual, is becoming more interesting at the moment. Here we've got a rising trend channel. Top of the channel there, heading for 2.9 pence, and the 200-day line just above that, up just around 3 pence. We're looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above the 50-day line there at 1.4 pence. That's also the floor of the rising trend channel. A lot of excitement there after the partnership with the Chess Federation of Tajikistan, which is really, really interesting. That's it for me today. More updates during the week.